Hi, I'm Bernie, and I'm a compulsive gambler. My last bet was November 21st of 2007, which was also the first meeting of Gamblers Anonymous I went to. It was also shortly after I had come out of the hospital for a problem with suicidal depression, which was facilitated to that level because of the gambling. What happened to me is something that happens around the country and around the world on a regular basis, and you don't see it coming because what happens is this: somebody does gambling, and it's not really a big thing to people. They don't see it. They think, well, they work hard, they deserve a break. They're stressed, they deserve a chance to unwind, and often they don't realize just how long they're gone. You might find somebody that's gone gambling to the casino for hours on end. In my case, I worked at a convenience store and I was addicted to scratch off tickets. So what I did is basically at the end of the day, I stopped from going home and bought tickets from my workplace after my shift, sat at an area that they had some tables and scratched them off. And I could do that because I was trying to avoid the issues I had at home. So for a number of years I did this. What I'm trying to do now, since 2007 when I recovered, is to work on trying to get to people and let them know what is going on for the compulsive gambler. Researching deeply into the mental state behind it, as well as the statistics behind it, and numerous places where you'd find um, the statistics. The casinos have their statistics, and then there's also a board that does statistics that deals with the compulsive gambling side of it. What happened is this: they both say different things. The casinos say, look at all the jobs we provided. Look at this, and look at this, and look at this. And the revenue that's brought in. And yeah, they bring in a lot of revenue. And what they fail to report on is this: that you'll find a lot of changes in the person. The person that becomes regular there, that's there quite a bit, gets the perks, the comped meals, the overnight stays, all these things, are the people that probably have gone there a lot, or that have a high potential of it because of something that they're seeing when they use those cards at the casinos. Now, with scratch-off tickets, it's a little different. What happens is, as people begin to gamble more, the people putting out the scratch-offs and all that stuff, i.e. the state, find new ways to expand on it. In the beginning, it was just scratch-off tickets. Then it went to this lottery that was a weekly lottery. Then it went to 3 times a week. Now there are multi-state lotteries. There are lotteries that happen instantly. There are 3-digit and 4-digit things. Most states have that. There are only 2 that don't, and that's Hawaii, where I guess they really don't have a need for gambling, at least not out in the open. It's there, but it's not condoned by the state. It's not formal in any way, shape, or form. Utah, the same situation. They don't have the gambling legalized. However, in looking into it, you'll find that there's gambling going on everywhere. You can't get away from it. On the computer, I'm talking to you now, you could be gambling on one screen and watching me on another. And the problem is that nobody sees it coming until either it's too late, or they begin to realize what's going on and they find a way to stop. And stopping is the hardest part because often you'll relapse. A casino gambler may not consider scratch-offs gambling, or may not consider other forms of this gambling. There are things out there such as bingo. That's gambling. Yet there are a lot of people out there that play bingo and don't think it's gambling. They also, you'll hear people say, well, I only go once in a while. It's once a month to blow off steam. And they put money aside. Well, I wrote an article about how to get around the 20 questions if you really wanted to, because compulsive gamblers can compartmentalize rather well. in that they don't blame the gambling for the borrowing the money, the criminal activity, the other things that are associated with it. Debt is not tied to it. Even though when you go to the casino and you spend that money is in fact money that would have been used for bills or could have been saved for later in life, and now you have to borrow money to pay your bills because you've used it at the casino or you've done something like that. They won't. A compulsive gambler won't talk about their losses. They'll always talk about their wins. Your reputation is always changed by gambling. Any gambler that says no, it didn't affect my reputation. It did affect your reputation. You may not have seen how it affected it, but it affected it, even if it's a slight change in that you're tired at work, you're less productive. And that's another point. People say, well, I didn't miss any work or school from it, but did you not off at work? Did you start daydreaming about gambling at work? When you're at work, the intention there is to be there for work. So if you're gambling in your mind, if you're thinking about it, or if you're nodding off because you were at the casino late the night before, then you're losing time from work, even if you don't recognize it. You're also losing productivity. There's so many things in life that are affected by the gambling. In my case, I was married for 24 years. I had 2 sons. I have 1 son that still communicates with me, 1 that only occasionally communicates with me. I have an ex-wife, and I have a new wife, a wife that I married recently that is more more focused on knowing that I am who I am. I'm not out to hurt her, which a lot of family members after the gambling comes out feel like it was a personal vendetta to hurt them or things of that nature. And that's not the case. A lot of times gamblers don't even realize how much they hurt people. Then you've got the situations where people have gone to prison for things. And the court systems, if you were doing drugs, they'd want you to get rehab. They're beginning now, because DSM has changed the rules, to focus on having compulsive gamblers going to meetings. But there needs to be more. There needs to be counseling, but also needs to be facilities out there. The money that's set aside to help compulsive gamblers here in Michigan is set aside for promotion of different things that can be done. But there is no inpatient treatment that is specific to compulsive gambling. I'm hoping that someday, in some way, I'll be able to do that. Today, I am dealing with health issues that in part may have been tied to my past. Asthma, it's there all your life. And it probably wasn't helped by the fact that when I was young, I smoked, and every now and then I'd pick up some cigarettes, but I was always around people that smoked. Along with that, I have other issues. I have bipolar, which is manic depressive, mostly depression, from years of dealing with issues that I didn't want to look at straight on. I lost my brother when I was 5, lost my sister a few years later when I was like 12 or 13, both of which were tragic losses. But my brother, I actually witnessed it from the porch of my home, and that made it difficult for me. It stewed inside me, and I had so many problems because of it, holding down jobs, all that kind of thing. ADHD is another thing. And compulsive gamblers, they tend to have some level of that. I was put on a med at one point after the diagnosis of major depression / bipolar, that kind of thing. That was very odd in its effect. But basically what it did is it took someone who was in recovery and doing well, and it helped them to get more urges to gamble when they didn't want to. The name of the medicine is something I can't mention because there's some issues. I don't want to be sued because I said it did that, but it is a side effect that occasionally occurs. Now, there's another med that I've been on for about 3-4 years that I've noted that really helps the compulsive gambler not have as many urges. It subdued even the urges that I would have normally. So there's stuff out there that can be done. I'd like to be part of that, but it all depends on how everything rolls together. Today, I'm just here to tell you a little bit about myself and a little bit about the need for the recovery programs to be out there, for people to be aware of what gambling is.